Hello and welcome back. In our last video, we saw how we could enter in commands via the terminal and look at help documentation, either using the TAC-H option or the man pages. We saw that there was a command uname that allowed us to look at some of the information in regards to our computer. We're going to continue looking at information about our computer by learning a few new commands here. And the first one that we're going to use is ifconfig. If we look at the man pages for ifconfig, it tells us that this is a command used to configure network interfaces, maybe like your wireless card or your Ethernet connection. We see that it can take some options, so synopsis, ifconfig, there's a variety of options, and then we can specify some interfaces. And so if I scroll down here, we can look at, get a little bit more information about what these options are. TAC-A will display all interfaces which are currently available. TAC-S displays them in a short list. TAC-V, you're going to see is a common option. It stands for verbose mode, which means give us a little bit more output in the terminal, especially if there's some errors, we can kind of see what's going on. And then here we can describe the interface. And so the interface is the name of the interface, usually a driver name following by a unit number. For example, ETH0 for the first Ethernet interface. So let's see what happens here. Let's quit out of the man pages and let's run this command. So let's run ifconfig and then let's pass the TAC-A for all. And so it looks like here I have three interfaces, internet interfaces on my computer. I have ETH0, LO, and WLAN 0. If you're using VirtualBox, you probably only have these two right now. You most likely don't have WLAN 0. ETH0 is your Ethernet cable if you're connected via like a landline to your router. If you're using VirtualBox, this is the network connection you probably have right now because you are, we'll say, hardwired to your host computer, which is your actual machine that you're running VirtualBox on. LO is your loopback address. This is like an address that your computer maybe uses to just talk to itself. And then in my case, WLAN 0 is my wireless card. Now, we use the TAC-A option here for ifconfig, but the default case for ifconfig, if I just type ifconfig, is that TAC-A option. So, if we just run that, it's exactly the same. If I type the TAC-S option, we see a similar output here. I get the interface names, but with much less output. So I'm going to clear that screen here. Now let's call ifconfig again, and let's look at the output. This output shows us some helpful information, such as our internet-enabled devices, our current IP address, and our MAC address. This is essentially like important information that's used for internet connections that we'll focus on in another course. But for now, just know that on your network, your computer has a unique IP address. And so if I look here, my IP address, I'm using my wireless card right now, WLAN 0. My IP address appears right here on my network. And we also have a unique MAC address that's set by the manufacturer. And so my MAC address is right here under Ether. Okay, so there's my MAC address, there's my IP address, and it's those two pieces of information together that sort of help, let's say, my router pinpoint my computer on my network and make sure that all of the correct information that should go to my computer goes to my computer and doesn't end up somewhere else. Again, we'll talk more about IP addresses and MAC addresses and their importance maybe in another course later on. I'm personally used to using ifconfig for all of my networking needs. It's kind of the command I've used, through my learning. But Linux has introduced a new command, which is called IP, which is a little bit more versatile. So let's check the help documentation by typing IP TAC-H. And it looks like we're given some usage here, IP and then options and then an object. And it tells us down here what some of our objects can be: link, address, route, etc. Maybe M address, maybe that's MAC address. And then we have some of the options down here. Let's look at the man pages though too. So let's type man IP. and we get a little bit more information here. So we're seeing what some of these options mean. We can go through and read these. It's really great when we're first starting out to get comfortable working through the man pages and the kind of like the help documentation to figure out how these commands work. If I look here under object address is the protocol address on a device. All right. If we continue scrolling, a lot of times the man pages will give you some examples of how to use the command. So here, IPADDR will show addresses assigned to all network interfaces. So I think that's what I want to use. So let's see. I'm going to clear the screen and I'm going to type IPADDR. And if we look, I see my 3 network devices, my loopback address, ETH0, and WLAN 0. Under WLAN 0, I see the MAC address as before, and I see my IP address as well. So here's another command where we can kind of get some network information about our current computer. Another useful command in regards to your network is the ping command. So let's clear the screen. And if we check the help document on ping, so I'll type ping tech H, it looks like ping takes a wide range of options here, right? So the usage says ping, you give your options, and then you need a destination. And right here it tells us that our destination is either a DSN name or an IP address. So let's try to use ping. What ping is going to do, if we check the man pages for ping, it says here, ping uses the ICMP protocol's mandatory echo request datagram to elicit a response from a host or gateway. Basically, we can use ping to, what we're going to use ping for right now is just to check the strength and efficiency of our network. So in order to do this, we're going to type ping, and we're not going to use any options, but we have to provide a destination, a DNS name or an IP address. So let's ping google.com. So if I ping Google, we can see here that it's pinging google.com, and it's sending bytes of data, and 64 bytes. It gives you the time in milliseconds of how long that's taken. And if I just let this run, it will continue to run over and over and over again. In order to stop this process inside of the terminal, I can just hit Control-C to kill that process. When I do this, I get a little summary here, google.com ping statistics. It says that 24 packets were transmitted, 22 were received, and I had an 8.33% packet loss. I don't like that. I would love to see 0% packet loss, because the less packet loss, the better. The better your network is working. So let's run ping again. But this time, instead of pinging a website like Google, I'm going to ping my IP address, or I'm going to ping my router. So your router, let's see, let me clear this and let me type IPADDR. So here is my current IP address. Your router will always be same three numbers, same, right here I have 1 number, but this set of numbers, and then this last number will be 1 for your router. You probably, if you're using VirtualBox, you can't access your router, but you could just ping Google again. So I'm going to do 192.168.1.1, and if I ping that, now I'm pinging my router directly. So instead of using a website, I'm using another IP address. Here I got 0% packet loss, so that's good to see. Let's check ping tech H, and let's look at an option here. Let's use the count option, which says we're going to stop sending pings after a count number of replies. So here I'll type ping, and then I have to put my options. So I'll do TAC-C, and then I have to give a count, which is a number. I'm going to put a number in here. I'm not actually going to type these carets here, though. I'm just going to put the number itself, just like I didn't type carets around the destination, okay? The fact is that this is required for the TAC-C option. So let's see. If I type ping, and we'll do TAC-C, and then I'm going to do 5. I'm going to send 5 little packets of information, and we'll do it to google.com again. Now I shouldn't have to hit Control-C. We're altering the behavior of the command. It should just stop after 5 packets being sent, and it looks like it did. So 5 packets transmitted, 5 received with 0% packet loss. So the ping command stops automatically, and we've essentially altered how this command is run given some of our options. So to summarize, in this video, we learned a couple of commands, ifconfig, IP, and ping, to help get some information about our computer on our network. We'll stop here, and we're going to continue in our next video learning some more basic commands for how we can get information about our system. I'll see you then.